Today's process of the day is photosynthesis.
What is photosynthesis?
This is the process by which light energy is converted into chemical energy.
This process occurs only in autotrophs.
Autotrophs? What are those?
Autotrophs are organisms that can sustain themselves without eating anything from other organisms.
Tell us more about photosynthesis.
Well, before I tell you more, does anyone know anything else about photosynthesis?
Well, I know that plants need only CO2, sunlight, and H2O to start the process. Also, the process takes place in the chloroplast, specifically using chlorophyll, the green pigment involved in photosynthesis.
Well, I know that the overall chemical reaction involved are 6 carbon dioxide molecules plus 6 water molecules plus light energy, which outputs one molecule of glucose plus 6 oxygen molecules.
That's right! Good job!
So let's go a little bit more in depth.
There are 2 parts of photosynthesis. The first part is the light-dependent reactions, which include photosystems. The process begins when light is absorbed in photosystem 2 in the thylakoid membranes. The energy of the sunlight activates electrons to move out of the chlorophyll molecules in the reaction center. These electrons pass through a series of cytochromes in the nearby electron transport system. The electrons eventually enter photosystem 1. Some of the energy of the electron is lost as the electron moves along the chain of acceptors, but a portion of the energy pumps protons across the thylakoid membrane, and this pumping sets up the potential for chemiosmosis. Sunlight now activates the electrons, which receive more chlorophyll molecules. There they reach a high energy level. Now the electrons progress through a second electron transport system, but this time there is no proton pumping. Rather, the energy reduces NADP+. This reduction occurs as 2 electrons join NADP and energize the molecule. Because NADP requires 2 negatively charged electrons, it attracts 2 positively charged protons to balance the charges. Consequently, the NADP molecule is reduced to NADPH, a molecule that contains much more energy. Electrons secured from water molecules replace these electrons. Each split water molecule releases 2 electrons that enter the chlorophyll molecules to replace those lost. The split water molecules also release 2 protons that enter the cytoplasm near the thylakoid and are available to increase the chemiosmotic gradient. Another product of the disrupted water molecules is oxygen. 2 oxygen atoms combine with one another to form molecular oxygen, which is given off as the byproduct of photosynthesis. ATP production in the energy-fixing reactions of photosynthesis occurs by the process of chemiosmosis. Essentially, this process consists of a rush of protons across a membrane by the synthesis of ATP molecules. The protons pass back across the membranes through channels lying alongside sites where enzymes are located. As the protons pass through the channels, the energy of the protons is released to form high-energy ATP bonds. ATP is formed in the energy-fixing reactions along with the NADPH formed in the main reactions. Both ATP and NADPH provide the energy necessary for the synthesis of carbohydrates that occurs in the second major set of events in photosynthesis.
The second part is the light-independent reaction, which includes the Calvin cycle. This process is started after the light reaction and uses its products to finish the process. These reactions occur in the stroma. An important molecule that is used in the cycle is CO2. Carbon dioxide is attached to a 5-carbon compound called ribulose diphosphate. Ribulose diphosphate carboxylase catalyzes these reactions. After carbon dioxide has been joined to ribulose diphosphate, it immediately breaks into 2 3-carbon molecules called phosphoglycerate. Each phosphoglycerate molecule converts to another organic compound, but only in the presence of ATP. The ATP used is the ATP synthesized in the reaction. The organic compound formed converts to still another organic compound using the energy present, NADPH. The organic compound that results is each consisting of a 3-carbon atom. Eventually, the compounds interact with one another and join to form a single molecule of a 6-carbon glucose. And that pretty much sums up the two parts of photosynthesis.
So the autotrophs are plants, and they're pretty much the producers of the world? Wow, that's amazing.
Yes, that's correct. And heterotrophs, such as humans, are the consumers of the world.
I gotta say, I can't wait to hear what tomorrow's process of the day is going to be. That's awesome.
Science!